In this segment, we're going to talk about dosha. Very, very central, because the first thing anybody knows is, okay, I know dosha, I'm this pitta dosha and all that stuff. So what is dosha, and why is it incorrect to translate it as humors and these kind of things?
Yeah. I mean, the word dosha actually means fault.
Fault?
Yes.
Oh.
So this is the, what Ayurveda says is that the body is designed for self-destruction. So the very constituents that support it, in the ultimate analysis, it is the fault. So the lifeline of the body is also its fault line. That is the meaning of the word dosha.
The very design of the body is that it will self-destruct.
Yes.
Very important point. It's a powerful idea. Yeah.
And that's why the word dosha has been used instead. It means guna.
So like in common Hindi, say, aapka kya dosha hai, mera kya dosha hai, means what's my fault?
Yes.
So, okay, all right.
That is actually the meaning.
That is the meaning.
So you have to be careful about these fault lines.
Right.
So,
okay.
And they are also your lifeline. So that is the challenge.
I love these kind of paradoxical things. So please explain.
Yes. So really dosha is, the opposite is guna. And in the Mahabharata actually, it's only in the Mahabharata that doshas have been carried. Vayu pittam kapas cheritraya shari raja gunaha. It's very interesting that a non-medical text, because they don't need to, they tell the truth. In Ayurveda, we have to sometimes. The idea is that if I tell that, Ayurveda gives a very realistic idea of your own system. It says, there is a lot of danger. So the word dosha means you have to take care. If you don't take care, this is a body that is programmed for destruction, and without care, it will get destroyed even faster. So that is why, to give that sense of attention, that care, the doshas need to be taken care of. Otherwise, they can destroy you. And these are nothing but that the gunas, we were just discussing about, the gradients, the 10 dvandva gunas. So, Ushna, Shita, Guru, Lakhu. If you look at the physiology of the body, at one time it is shifting to the cold side, sometimes it becomes hot, sometimes it becomes in a catabolic state, breaking down, sometimes it is building up. In Ayurveda, these shifts are represented by these 20 gunas. So they are like, it is like the matrix. In modern medicine, the focus is on individual molecules. But Ayurveda is concerned about the matrix. When the matrix changes, molecular reactions will change. And doshas represent, the patterns of these gunas in the body. So when certain gunas manifest, certain functions will manifest. When there is a shift, again it changes. So vata, kapha is the constructive principle. When the body is in a constructing itself, we would say kapha is dominating, which means it only means that now across that continuum there has been a shift of the gunas onto a particular gradient. Once the construction is done, now it's the time for releasing energy, and then there will be a shift now, and then we say pitta has become active. And as the transformation energy gets released, it needs to be channelized and utilized, expressed. That is vata. So it is foolish to say that I am vata, everybody is vata, pitta and kapha, because if these three functions don't take place.
No, but they're saying when they say I'm vata, it means dominant.
Yeah.
That's what they really mean.
Yes.
I mean, they know that there are all three present, but there's a dominant one.
Yes, that's true. So as long as we understand it as dominance, it is okay. But again, the thing is, it's not as simple as no doshas are seen alone. They form one continuity. So usually what we find is even dominance will be of two doshas.
So is there a specific dosha configuration or balance for a particular organ by organ?
Yes.
So it is not like Rajiv's whole body, this is the dosha system, right? From pancreas it is something, lungs it's something.
Yes.
So that's another point.
That's described very clearly. So the head region here is kapha dominant. The liver is pitta dominant.
For everybody?
Everybody.
But then you said that this dominant is individual.
Yes, the baseline may change.
Okay.
That's why some people are more prone to liver diseases.
Okay.
They may have excess pitta in their liver.
Okay.
Some people with kapha dominance, their livers may be sluggish.
No, but when you say somebody's dosha type is dominant pitta or
Yes.
dominant pitta
Yes.
vata,
That means across all these organs,
as an aggregate.
aggregate there will be. Because even in the liver, all the three doshas are there.
Yeah, but why is it that in here it's going to be kapha dominant for every human being? Why is that so then?
Yes, because what we in Ayurveda, this is a question that we also ask as a student: how the heavy kapha goes on to the top.
But for everybody, it's like
Everybody is like that. Yes, because that is the whole structure. This is a samanya. Our body is organized like the feet. This is, we say that urdhva moolam atha shakam. This is the root, and this is the branches. So we are a tree turned upside down. So this is evolution. So we started with plant life, fix it to the ground with the roots on the ground and the branches spreading upward. In animal life, we took a 90-degree turn and we went parallel to the earth. And when we became humans, we just turned upside down. So this is how Ayurveda looks at the whole evolution. So we are like trees turned upside down. This is a very basic imagery in Ayurvedic texts. And movement, that is why we say activity is so important for human beings, because we are designed, if the plant was designed to be fixed and stationary, just swaying there, we are designed to be continuously moving. And this movement is what manifests as vata in the system, the burning.
But I'm still trying to understand as a total general concept of dosha, that if this is aggregate the overall configuration for
which
a
is
person.
common for everybody.
Okay.
The whole overall structure of the body, like everybody has a brain, everybody has a liver.
True, but then people say, okay, your pancreas is out of balance, or your pancreas has got this dosha composition. So it means that you cannot say that for this organ, everybody is kapha.
Yeah, everybody, that organ itself is kapha.
Okay.
Within that, there could be variations.
Okay.
My pancreas could be less kapha. I mean, my brain could be less kapha than another person.
Right.
But overall, otherwise you cannot call it brain. Brain has its own characteristics.
Okay.
So it has to be kapha dominant here.
Okay. So for a particular mechanism to work,
yes,
and as an organ, it has a certain dosha type configuration, which is sort of in its innate nature to provide that function.
Yes.
Okay.
And within that, if it is not optimal, which is not usually in the case of all individuals, you have some limitations for those organs.
Right.
So each individual, some people have problems with their intestines much more than any other organ. A vata person will have more problems with their intestine because of overall dominance of vata in the system.
So people call it humors and some call it energies.
Yes.
So what is wrong with that?
Yeah, but the basic thing is humor is a theory borrowed from Greek's medical system. They considered the body to be made up of a mixture of fluids. And that is where the problem of dosha is not a fluid. Of course, vata is not a fluid at all. And another thing is the humors are yellow bile, black bile, blood and phlegm. And blood and black bile, that's not there in Ayurveda at all. So the whole concept of humors, I mean, that is a very superficial correlation. Many Western historians wanted to show that Ayurveda derived from the Greek system.
Yeah. And are people very happy that we're also like that?
Yes. And we also became fashionable for many Indian scholars to start using the word humors.
But even now, some of the well-known scholars talk like that.
Yes. So humor is nowhere near dosha.
Right. What about energies?
Yeah, because this in Ayurveda it is clearly told to be guna. The term itself has the definition. Now guna is not energy.
Right.
And then we talk about dosha, some people say functional principle. If you ask what is a functional principle, it's like a ghost. Because as you hunt for it, it just disappears.
Yeah.
So functional principle, some people correlate vata with the nervous system, which is also not true.
So vata and nor is dosha a substance?
It's not.
It is not a substance.
It's actually like the quantum theory. You cannot tell whether it's a wave or a particle. Doshas represent that continuum of function and structure. It can manifest, it can assume a gross form as a structure, sometimes as a waste, and that is the phlegm that we see outside. Those gunas which the body doesn't require, you materialize them into a physical structure and throw it out of the body. So it means when you're throwing out phlegm, it means that the kapha gunas have accumulated excessively in your system, and now physically you are throwing it out. But that's not the functional dosha. The functional dosha is the guna inside. So guna dravya, this dosha fluctuates between these two, identities. And this is, to study and understand this requires some time. Because you cannot explain quantum mechanics and physics just casually. We do see some similarities in the language of, the quantum physics here.
There is no testing through instruments which would correlate with the dosha of a person.
There are some, as I told you, genetically even the prakriti is determined by the doshas. So there have been biochemical as well as genetic correlates made to the doshas. So pitta prakriti, the platelet agglutination pattern, how it happens. The pitta prakriti seems people who have been identified to have pitta.
Because your particular dosha pattern will manifest in various ways.
Yes.
Your habits, your lifestyle, diseases.
There could be biochemical as well as genetic.
So therefore it will manifest in ways that may be markers.
Yes.
Biological markers,
and already
chemical markers.
There are research studies which have indicated that such correlations can be made, but they are still in a preliminary, stage. So the present studies have clearly indicated that we can correlate them genetically as well as biochemically. It's possible.
But it's not gone far enough to be able to.
Yes, there are some isolated findings. Some biomarker for a kapha person, but it's not complete.
Right.
Not comprehensive enough to be developed into a panel of tests with which we can, come up with a definite understanding.
Right. So how would you define a dosha? What is the Ayurvedic definition? We've talked about what it is not, but how would
we would say it's just a pattern of gunas. That's how doshas are described. Tatra ruksho lakushi, the kharas sukshmas chalun. It's just a sequence of gunas. They didn't bother to define it beyond that. And they say prathama dushanatvat dosha. Because that which when deviates completely brings imbalance to the entire body. So this is the first point of imbalance. That's another way in which dosha is defined. So that which it breaks down leads to the breakdown of the whole body. That is how dosha is defined. Because it is actually, we can say it is a shift in the internal environment. Because our body's physiological functions to happen normally, it needs certain conditions to be fulfilled.
Right.
And these are defined by the 20 gunas. So when there is a fluctuation beyond the threshold, then the physiological functions get disturbed.
Right.
And that's why we say dosha is the first to get disturbed. Because when that atmosphere, like if the heat in this room keeps increasing, up to a certain point we will be able to tolerate it.
Right.
But when you have a cutoff point, then there is denaturing of our substances.
Yes.
And that shift is what we call as dosha kopa. And then the whole system collapses.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here and also hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified. To donate, please click this button.